Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying for Beginners. Today we're going to tie a Clouser Minnow. I'm going to show you two different style hooks and how to tie the eyes on each. The first hook I have is a plain shank hook, and I'm going to use white thread because you want the thread to match the body color. I'm going to attach the thread right behind the eye, and I'm going to come back about 1/3 the hook shank and remove that thread. Now here I'm going to build up the thread. Just build up a nice little ball right there, and then move your thread back about 1 mil or 2 and build up another ball right there. And now we're going to take our barbell eyes and we're going to place them inside the two bumps that we have. We're going to take 5 turns one way, bring it back on top, and we're going to take 5 turns this way and make sure that they're centered. And now we can repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to put the thread under the eyes and over the hook shank, and this is going to tighten them up. 5 times, 6, whatever. And then you can repeat that. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then under the eyes and over the hook shank. Now we can take some head cement. You can use super glue. I'm going to use Sally Hansen's. And put some head cement right in between the eyes. And this will lock the eyes into place. Now I'm just going to tie this off, and I'm going to show you the other one. Just going to give it a quick whip finish. Now the second style hook that I'm going to use is a kink shank popper hook. This is a Mustad 33903. I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to attach that behind the eye, and I'm going to put down a base of thread. And I'm going to stop it just behind the second kink. I'm going to bring my thread up, and I'm going to keep it on the back side of that first dip. Now we're going to take our barbell eyes once again, and we're going to put them inside the first dip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn it over. 1, 2, 5. Make sure that it's centered. Looks centered pretty good. And now we're going to go under the eyes and on top of the hook shank. Now, two things to point out. Before I put the eye on, I kept my thread at the back of the first dip so that the eyes will sit right on the bottom. If I had it in the middle or on the front, they have a tendency to pull forward, so you want to keep it towards the back and it will get it right on the bottom. And the second thing is I use the kinked shank hook because now all my Clouser minnows, the eyes will be in the same spot. Take my head cement. Like I said, you can use super glue, whatever you think will work for you. Put a little bit of it on both sides even. The first thing we're going to put on is the belly. And for the belly, we're going to use white bucktail. You want some nice straight white bucktail. I'm going to widen this out. We want that hair to be 1.5 the length of the hook shank. We're going to take this and we're going to tie this in front. Hold your hair almost at a 45-degree angle, and then you will be able to tie it in without having to trim. Got a couple loose ones there. We're going to come up to the eye. We're going to go on the back side of the eye, and we're going to continue tying it in. We're going to come down the shank, and while I'm doing this, you can hold the hair towards you slightly so that it will end up on top. And I'm going to tie it down until it comes to the point of the hook. And then I'm going back on it. I'm going to fill this in better this time. And we're going to move to the front. And we'll leave that thread in front of the eyes. Now, because this is going to ride like this, we want to do something to protect the hair that is between the eyes. So we take super glue or your head cement and put that on there, and better yet, take some UV resin. I'm going to use my Deer Creek Diamond Fine UV resin. I'm going to put it on between the eyes and run it down the tie down and hit it with the UV light. I didn't put any on the front here because it turns very hard, like it says, diamond. It's diamond hard, and your thread, it will be difficult to wrap your thread for the next step. And that's it, just a couple of seconds. Now this, you won't have to worry about it scraping rocks on the bottom and breaking up. Okay, we're going to turn this over. I'm going to take pearl minnow mix. I'm just going to pull some out. I'm going to tie this in. I'm going to leave a bunch on the front. This step is an optional step. I like to put some flash in them. And I'm going to move that to the back and just tie that in right there. Fold this front over and tie that down. Bring that thread back up forward. And bring that around, divide it with the hook shank. There we go. Now we have all of this on the back here. I'm just going to pull that off. Now I'm going to take some orange bucktail, and I want to measure that up. We want that to be just slightly past the belly. So I'm going to measure that up, and I'm going to trim off the excess. Once again, we're going to tie this in. I'm going to hold it pretty much at a 45-degree angle. Then we're going to tie that in up to the eyes. And come back on that. Remove any loose hairs. Oop. Now I'm going to take a bunch of brown bucktail. You can make your Clousers any color you want. And I want that to be the same length as the orange. I'm going to measure it. I'm going to trim off the excess. Make sure you tie that nose down really good and tight. We're going to take our Martelli style whip finisher, put the hook over the thread, bring the thread around the bend, and now you have that X. Slide that down, and then simply rotate. Push it, slide that out, and remove that. Now we've got a white head, and I want it to be black, so I'm just going to take a permanent marker. Color that black. Take our head cement once again, and you don't have to be cheap on the head cement on the head. You want that to soak into the threads and get the hairs. Yeah, and here we have our Clouser Minnow. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. And most of all, I thank you very much for watching my videos.